population growth, rapid urbanization, changing climate and changing consumption and production patterns are increasing pressure on available water resources. Today's water challenges, however, cannot be solved by technical solutions alone. Capacity development, both at the individual and institutional levels, is essential for many UN member states to develop their ability to address today's and future water challenges sustainably. Given the growing demand for water and the importance of water for all aspects of human life, in 2005, the United Nations General Assembly launched the International Decade for Action, Water for Life. The purpose of the Water for Life Decade was to help achieve internationally agreed water-related goals. UN Water, the United Nations interagency coordination mechanism on all freshwater-related issues, including sanitation, was tasked with coordinating the decade. UN Water fosters greater cooperation and information sharing among the currently 31 UN Water members, which come from within, and 37 UN Water partners, which come from outside of the United Nations system. In support of the Water for Life Decade, the UN Water Decade Programme on Capacity Development, UNW-DPC, was established in 2007 in Bonn, Germany. It is hosted by the United Nations University and governed by UN Water. Capacity development is at the core of UNW-DPC's mandate. Funded by the German government through the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development and the German Federal Ministry of Education and Research, UNW-DPC strives to strengthen the capacity development activities of UN Water members and partners, supporting them in their efforts to help member states achieve the Millennium Development Goals and other international goals and commitments related to water and sanitation. UNW-DPC focuses on 4 main areas: to strengthen the capacity of UN Water to add coherence to the UN system and support UN Water governments and coordination activities, to enhance integrated approaches to transdisciplinary and institutional capacity development, to support UN Water members, partners and programs in collaborative capacity development initiatives, to promote water-related capacity development, UN Water and its activities, especially in reaching decision-makers and other key stakeholders. The initial phase of UNW-DPC's work was marked by scaling up activities of UN Water members and partners and the development of bilateral relationships. With the increased need to overcome disciplinary silos to solve the multidimensional aspects of water problems, UNW-DPC evolved towards coordinating more multilateral and long-term UN Water initiatives. One example is the UN Water Activity Information System. This is an online platform to present and share information from UN Water and its members and partners within a user-friendly interface. It hosts information on more than 600 water projects, as well as 3,500 documents and learning materials related to UN Water's focus areas. Another example of UNW-DPC's activities is the initiative on drinking water loss reduction and non-revenue water management. In many parts of the world, large amounts of water that utilities produce end up as non-revenue water, including leakage, unauthorized consumption, and water distributed without being invoiced. Together with UN Habitat and its Global Water Operator Partnerships Alliance, UNW-DPC organized a series of regional training workshops to develop capacities of policymakers on water loss reduction throughout Latin America, Southeast Europe, Middle East, and North Africa, Asia, and Sub-Saharan Africa. The workshops also provided policymakers, water managers, and technicians an opportunity to exchange good practices and success stories.
We are currently, as a utility, losing about 52% of the water that we produce. Now, the challenge that we have is to see how we can drop the water loss reduction rate from 52% to an acceptable number, say about 25%.
In addition to that, there are also institutional aspects, because at this moment there is not efficient system, institutional system in place that will allow for efficient implementation on the national level or regional level of water losses reduction programs.
Capacity development for drought management has also been another important area of work for UNW-DPC. The most common strategy to deal with droughts has been to react after droughts have taken their toll. A more effective and sustainable approach for managing droughts is to deal with them proactively. To this end, UNW-DPC organised 6 regional training workshops in several drought-prone regions worldwide, bringing together a broad range of partners. The workshops aimed at increasing the capacities of policymakers to develop national drought management policies based on the philosophy of risk reduction. 170 participants from 69 countries were trained in the framework of this UN Water Initiative. Safe use of wastewater in agriculture has also been a major area of activity for UNW-DPC. In many regions of the world, wastewater is being used for agriculture.
We have many cities that are located in the arid zone area. They don't have any more waters. And they need to have the plantation and irrigation for the food to the cities. So we really need that wastewater treatment plant effluent because there is no other water in order to tap or dam it and use it for irrigation.
While wastewater is a valuable resource, it's also a source of pollution and can seriously affect the health of people and the environment. To help member states maximize the benefits of wastewater use by implementing available guidelines and applying safe practices, UNW-DPC and 6 other UN water members and partners have come together in a long-term, multi-sectorial initiative, promoting safe practices where wastewater is used in agriculture. More than 150 participants from 73 countries around the world were trained in the framework of the Safe Use of Wastewater in Agriculture project.
I think most of it is cross-sharing of experience. So far, if we live in our own silos, we feel that it's only our problem and we only have to manage it. But when you come to events like this, you come to know it's a global problem. And so a global initiative needs to be undertaken.
UNW-DPC has also used various other avenues to promote water-related capacity development activities. Besides producing more than 50 publications on water-related issues, UNW-DPC has focused on reaching out to decision-makers and other key stakeholders by establishing productive dialogues with the water community and other sectors. To this end, UNW-DPC coordinated UN Water's participation in the high-level International Conference on Water Cooperation in Dushanbe, the UN Water Stakeholder Dialogues at the World Water Week in Stockholm, and events at the World Water Forums. UNW-DPC has also organised an expert meeting among UN Water members and partners. Furthermore, UNW-DPC facilitated exchanges between UN Water and the private sector. For example, the participation of UN Water at the IFAT trade fairs in Munich, one of the world's largest trade fairs on water, sewage, waste and raw materials management. UNW-DPC has also cooperated closely with the German Association for Water, Wastewater and Waste, the European Water Association, the African Water Association and the Arab Countries Water Utilities Association. As the Water for Life decade is coming to an end, it is now time to look back at what has been accomplished. For this purpose, UNW-DPC was requested by UN Water to produce a report on the achievements during the International Decade for Action, Water for Life 2005 to 2015. This report was launched by the chair of UN Water at the UN headquarters in New York in March of 2015. Looking back at the last 10 years, the Water for Life decade truly became a decade for action.
During the decade, a number of significant milestones have been reached. Most prominently, the MDG target for safe and sustainable drinking water access, And that means that between 1990 and 2012, about 2.3 billion people gained access to maybe not always safe drinking, but improved drinking water source. And this achievement should give us all reasons for optimism.
Now, after 8 years, I am pleased to report UNW-DPC completed almost 125 activities serving UN water members and partners, and ultimately training and developing capacities of almost 2,500 participants from 151 countries. These achievements were based on many factors, including hostness of United Nations University and support of federal government of Germany through different ministries, as well as a good team of colleagues and experts and professionals helping us during these 8 years.
On the 23rd of June 2015, the UNW-DPC celebrated its achievements in support of UN Water and of the Water for Life Decade at the UN campus in Bonn, where UNW-DPC's host, its donors and the chair of UN Water reflected on water challenges and the achievements of UNW-DPC.
One of the attractive things about UN Water, and there are many attractive things about UN Water, is that it is a network, and not just a network of UN member agencies and programs. There are 31 of those. But also many external actors, because the dynamism often comes from the external actors, and there are 37 of them. UN Water as a network is in a sense a response to the surplus of UN agencies. UN architecture has become so extensive, so complex, that virtually nobody understands it. And networks actually bring together elements of this architecture for subject-based work, and do not waste a lot of money on bureaucracy and staff. They use the existing staff, by and large, of units already in place. The network has been hosted in recent years with extraordinary dynamism and skill by Michel Jarraud to my left. We're extremely grateful to him. Earlier, one of my colleagues at UNU, Adil Zafar, chaired UN Water, and others will in the future. Again, this idea of rotation, it seems to me, amongst UN actors is a very good one.
So I'm especially pleased as the list of the achievements and outputs of the UNDPC we have just seen is indeed remarkable. So we really have reason to celebrate. Founded in 2007 with the support of the German government, the aim of the UNDPC was to support and strengthen the capacity development activities of the more than 24 UN organizations and programs under the umbrella of the UN Water. The program fulfilled this task with great commitment and dedication. Within a short time, it became an important component for strengthening the United Nations in the water sector. I'd like to express our special gratitude to the program's longtime director, Dr. Adekanian, the host, who played a major role in this, and I would also like the UN University to host this program.
The UN Water Decade Program on Capacity Development contributed to tackle one of the biggest global challenges of our time: ensuring availability and sustainable management of water. I would like to convey my sincere thanks to the involved persons at the UN Water Decade Program on capacity development, and I would like to congratulate personally Professor Reza Adekania for his achievements with this program, especially for his bridging between science, policy and let me say, the real life or the real world, the practitioners.
I want to briefly underline, UNW-DPC was a very good idea that my ministry was happy to engage with and support. The UNW-DPC achievements and capacity development in the water sector made a difference, and the program helped to bring the UN water family closer. For example, we have unfinished business, especially with regard to the MDG on sanitation. And we face growing demands due to urbanization, demographic changes, but also due to socioeconomic changes in lifestyles. And we also need to take account of climate change impacting on ecosystems and the availability of water, but also with consequences on water quality and health aspects. To be prepared to face all these aspects, we need a good mixture of scientific knowledge, technical solutions, regulatory frameworks, and last but not least, capacity development and participation.
I have no doubt that the Decade program on capacity development has contributed in a major way to this success. Not just that of the Decade, but to UN Water as a whole, by increasing visibility, by increasing support to many of the UN Water projects and initiatives, and we saw many of them. So please allow me to take this opportunity on behalf of all the agencies, programs, of partners of UN Water, to say that we are very, very grateful to Germany. The city, the government, the people of Germany, all those who contributed to support the Decade program during all these years. But I also want to express my most sincere thanks to UNU, David, for hosting, supporting UN Water DPC, and my very special personal thanks to you, Reza, and all your team, all your staff, for everything you have been doing to support these major issues related to water. The hard work, the dedication of your staff has been much appreciated, and I want really to record my appreciation to them.
Once again, at the end of our program, I would like to thank all of you participated in this celebration, sharing with us these achievements, and especially our panelists, my rector, my chair of UN Water, and representative of the ministries.
UNW-DPC has contributed to a change in mindset towards collaborative action among UN Water members, partners, and member states. This mindset of cooperation will remain essential to take on the water challenges of tomorrow.